A 12-year-old black boy saved a white girl's life, but his request in return made her father cry. Subscribe to the channel and write on the comment section where you are watching from. Darius, a 12-year-old boy, stands on a crowded street corner, his small cooler filled with water bottles and homemade lemonade. The oppressive summer sun beats down on him, making his task even harder. Sweat drips down his forehead as he calls out to passers-by, trying to sell his drinks. Most people walk by without even a glance, and the few who stop quickly dismiss him. His young voice grows hoarse, but he doesn't give up. Water. Lemonade. Please buy one. It's cold and fresh, he pleads. At home, his grandmother's frail health weighs heavily on his mind. The money he earns is often not enough to cover her medications, and he feels the weight of their survival pressing down on his small shoulders. Darius returns home to their tiny, dimly lit apartment. His grandmother, a kind and loving woman, waits for him on a worn-out couch. Though she's proud of his hard work, she wishes he wouldn't sacrifice his childhood for her sake. Darius, my son, I told you to focus on school. Leave the worrying to me, she says softly, coughing. But Darius shakes his head. Granny, I can't. You need your medicines, and I can't just sit back and do nothing, he replies, determination in his voice. Her eyes fill with tears as she embraces him, grateful for his love, but saddened by the burdens he bears. One scorching afternoon, as Darius struggles to sell his lemonade, a commotion breaks out down the street. A young girl, around his age, screams as she's grabbed by a man trying to snatch her purse. Instinctively, Darius sprints toward the scene. Despite his small frame, he yells at the man and throws his cooler at him, startling the thief enough to let go of the girl. The girl, shaken but unharmed, stares at Darius with gratitude. She introduces herself as Amelia, the daughter of a wealthy businessman. Thank you so much. I don't know what would have happened if you weren't there, she says, her voice trembling. Darius brushes it off, embarrassed by the attention. I just did what anyone would do, he says. The next day, a sleek black car pulls up to the corner where Darius usually sells his drinks. Amelia steps out, followed by her father, a tall man with an imposing presence. They approach Darius, who looks at them nervously. Amelia's father, Mr. Sinclair, introduces himself and thanks Darius for saving his daughter. Young man, I owe you more than words can express. You're a hero, he says. Amelia adds. I told my dad all about you. He wanted to meet you. Darius, unsure how to respond, stammers. I didn't do anything special. I just wanted to help. Mr. Sinclair offers Darius a reward for his bravery. Anything you want, name it. Money, a scholarship, anything to help you and your family, he says. Darius hesitates, overwhelmed by the generosity. Thoughts race through his mind. He could ask for money to pay for his grandmother's medications, or even enough to move them to a better home. But instead, he takes a deep breath and makes a surprising request. Sir, I don't want money or anything fancy, Darius says quietly. But if you can, could you help my grandmother get better? She needs a doctor and medicine. That's all I want. Mr. Sinclair is taken aback by the boy's humility and selflessness. Amelia smiles, clearly touched by Darius's request. That's such a kind thing to ask, she says. You have a good heart, son, Mr. Sinclair adds. He promises to arrange for the best medical care for Darius's grandmother. True to his word, Mr. Sinclair hires a doctor to visit Darius's grandmother. Medications and treatments are provided, and slowly, she begins to recover. For the first time in years, Darius feels a glimmer of hope. One afternoon, as he sits beside his grandmother, she holds his hand and smiles. Darius, you've done so much for me. I'm so proud of you, she says, her voice steady for the first time in weeks. Darius feels a lump in his throat but manages a small smile. I just want you to be okay, Granny, he replies. Word spreads about Darius's bravery and selflessness. Local news outlets pick up the story, dubbing him a young hero. Strangers begin to stop by his lemonade stand, not just to buy drinks, but to thank him for his inspiring actions. One day, Amelia visits him again, this time bringing a small gift, a brand new cooler for his drinks. "I thought this might make your job a little easier," she says, grinning. Darius thanks her shyly, still adjusting to the sudden attention. Through his journey, Darius learns that kindness and selflessness can create ripples far beyond what he imagined. Mr. Sinclair, moved by the boy's character, decides to mentor him, offering guidance and support for his education. "You have so much potential, Darius. I want to help you achieve your dreams," he says. Darius starts to believe in a future he never thought possible. With Mr. Sinclair's help, he enrolls in a better school, where he excels in his studies. Years later, Darius looks back on the day he saved Amelia as the moment that changed his life. His grandmother, now healthy and strong, sits proudly in the audience as he gives a speech at his high school graduation. "My grandmother taught me to always put others first, and that's what I tried to do. I didn't know it would lead to all of this, but I'm grateful for every step of the journey," he says, his voice filled with emotion. As the crowd applauds, Darius spots Amelia and Mr. Sinclair smiling in the front row, a reminder of how far he's come, and the power of selfless love.